Voice 17104, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, touching lives with the power of internet radio.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule, this is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yes, we're really about to do it. Welcome to a special Saturday edition of the all-new Ron Chappell Show. We come to you from Harrisburg, PA. The focus of the all-new Ron Chappell Show is Harrisburg newsmakers and also new businesses in Harrisburg. We feature a street report from our street reporter, also community announcements. Also, we have a sound off segment where residents of Harrisburg can call in and sound up about their concerns. I'm going to give you a telephone number right now. We're going to dispense with the street report today. We may have a community announcement, but here is the working telephone number for the show. 717-889-7181. That's 717-889-7181. And the phone lines will be open throughout this program, so you can call as soon as you feel that you want to call in. All we ask is that you give your name and you address the candidate that's here today, our very special guest, mayoral candidate for Harrisburg, Mr. Louis Butts, making a return visit. This will be his third visit during this campaign cycle. And so, Chris Thomas, engineer, do you have any community announcements you want to make?
No, sir, not at the present time, ma'am.
Okay, well, without further ado, let's get started. As a lot of y'all know, we have a very important primary election coming up on May the 20th here in Harrisburg. And with Harrisburg being a predominantly Democrat city, the odds are whoever wins the primary election will go on to assume that office after the general election in November, unless there is a successful write-in campaign. There are many, many seats on the ballot, city seats and also county seats. And today we have a mayoral candidate. There are 5 candidates altogether, one being the incumbent, Mayor R.D. Williams. Is her last name Williams? I'm
Yes,
having
sir.
a
Yes,
George
sir.
Bush moment here. Yeah. Wanda R.D. Williams is the incumbent mayor. She's running for re-election, but there's many, many residents in Harrisburg that think that someone else should be sitting in that seat. And we have one of the candidates here today, as I said. So let's join me, Chris, as we reintroduce to the audience candidate for mayor of Harrisburg, Mr. Louis Butts. Okay, Mr. Butts, welcome back to the program. How you doing today?
I'm doing brilliant. We have a fantastic day outside. It's bright and sunny. There's an event going on right now at OIC that's bringing our community together. There's a lot of kids. I went down to the Broad Street Market, started chatting. I got some of my signs are up. I have a website that I want to give everyone so you can see my platforms, the different varieties, as well as the diversity in my projects. I want to thank God for getting me this far, and I want God to help in overseeing this election as well as the future of our city. It's paramount that we put God first. I'm not here just for one demographic in the city. I'm here to cover all demographics. I understand about our democratic dominance, but all demographics are important to me. I want that to be clear. That's not addressing our African bodies. I'm addressing all bodies, including our Asian bodies. And with that, we can move forward.
Okay, Mr. Butts, first I want to thank you for your stick-to-itiveness. This is not the first time you ran for mayor, and I applaud you. I applaud you for that never say die attitude, and so we do applaud you for that. But let me ask you, Mr. Louis Butts, why do you want to be mayor of Harrisburg?
My projects, the projects that I have developed over time, it needs the presentation from a mayor's seat. It can't be presented from any other seat other than a mayor seat or a commissioner seat in Dauphin County. I studied 5 different administrations, the thing that they did well, their shortcomings. I've seen our communication infrastructure break down to where it's non-existent, and without communication, our civilization tends to go awry. We need to have the administration along with the school district administration work hand in hand so we can produce the type of citizen that we need in our city. And that's one of the things that I will accomplish.
Okay, what do you think some of the pressing needs are in the city of Harrisburg as pertain to the citizenry?
We need jobs. If we don't have a good job population, jobs that qualify to where we can, our families can earn a living to support a family. We need jobs that can support our families in Harrisburg. That will reduce some of the stressors and in turn reduce the crime. Education is key. We need to take a look at what we want to produce in Harrisburg. If a child wants to become an accountant, we have to make sure that child has a support structure made up of retired accountants that are current, so we can bridge the gap so that child won't get lost in the fray. That would be another support element other than the school itself as well as their parents. The community, the village needs to wrap their arms around the child as well as the senior citizens. We have senior citizens that have been accountants, have been lawyers, have been doctors, have been nurses. We need to draw again on our citizenry, the seniors, because they still can help to bridge some of the gaps of development.
Okay, what are some of your plans, be you elected as mayor of Harrisburg? Let's say, what does the first year look like in Harrisburg under Butt's administration?
I will work on our municipal Wi-Fi so we can communicate. I will establish a newspaper that will also incorporate our students. We will work on hydro generation in the river to produce power as well as revenue. Establish a police, fire, and river team academy so that we can nurture our children to be responsible and reactive to things that happen immediately around them, that they can solve the problems before the police or fire are involved in a reactionary process. We need to build our citizenry that can prevent things from escalating to where the cops or the fire department needs to be called, and that's a responsibility of all citizens.
Okay, what is it in your background, either work experience or life experience, especially being a resident of Harrisburg, would prepare you to assume leadership as the mayor of Harrisburg? What qualifications do you bring, sir?
Not only do my experience in studying the administrations prior, but also competing with those mayors and understanding their vision, understanding their perspective before they even get into office. There were mayors that didn't come with a plan for our people, and in turn disenfranchised our people. The more we put people into office that don't have a plan for where they want to take the people, as a whole, the more likely it is that we will be unaccounted for, uncommunicative with each other as well as the leaders, and that leader will eventually disenfranchise himself as well as the people. We have to know and be reassured that we can be considered whenever a leader is putting forth a plan or even attempting to be a leader in our community. We've elected many leaders that just don't have intentions to make the city better. That's why we're failing in a lot of different aspects. Our quality of life is not getting better right now. It's important that you come to the table with the initiative to improve the quality of life, not just for one segment or one demographic of our community, but for the whole demographic. And that's what I bring. I've done a lot of research on hydro power, and it's time for us to be that poster child for Pennsylvania renewable energy, and that's what I bring to the table. Other candidates are a little shallow, and you can tell when you speak to them, you can tell how shallow, and they don't cover the dynamics of our community. They stay in a piece of the pie. They don't cover the whole pie. If you just listen to how deep they are, they're not deep at all. They talk about their past and what brought them here, and not where they're at and where they want to take the people. They spend a lot of time about talking about what they've been through. I'm not going to sit here and waste time and talk about every struggle that I've been through to get here. No, I'm going to talk about here, what's happening in the now, and where I want to take my people in the future. So they should get off of that bus, because it really is a waste of time. We've got the future to think about, and that's where I'm at.
Okay. You mentioned the other candidates in the race, and also let me say this: as far as a technical concern, a lot of you know Mr. Louis Butts personally. You've seen him you've seen him up close and personal, and if you know anything about photography, you see Mr. Butts is wearing a white shirt, and we have bright lights in the studio which reflect off that shirt, which causes to make some images of people darker than they are in natural light. And so I just want to say that concern for those of you that might say, well, that don't look like the Louis Butts that I know. Well, that is
Wow.
that is a technical reason that you see him differently. Yes, you're about to say something.
Well, technically, I'm very dark.
Okay.
I'm darker than you.
Yeah, yes, you're darker than me.
Yeah, I'm a very dark individual, and as the summer goes on, I get even darker.
Okay.
So this is the beginning. And most of the people in the city are pretty much relative. I have a large family. I've always been involved. I coach football. I run championships. And sometimes people feel as though that I'm too jovial, but when I win titles throughout central Pennsylvania, people know that I'm not jovial. I tend to win, and I have a winning spirit.
Okay, you mentioned titles. Let's mention one of those titles. Enlighten us on one of the titles or championships that you were a part of.
Well, you had Terrence Webb, for example. Me and Terrence Webb coached our children to titles at Paxton Pioneers. To titles. My son was a quarterback. His son was a running back. And we won titles.
You won football
Titles. And and when I go around Central Pennsylvania, Cumberland County, Redland, they know that I play no games, and I don't really understand where people like yourself think that I'm jovial when everybody else in Central Pennsylvania thinks I'm Sharky. They call me Sharky not just because I'm a swimmer, it's because my mentality is I have no frills.
Okay, let me just say, don't tell me that I think that you're jovial, because I've never said that myself. That you're
Run the tape back.
jovial.
Run the tape back.
I only said since you
No.
want to. Well, no, wait a minute. Since you want to touch on that, please let me respond. I only said that it.
But I'm not.
Okay. Can I answer? Can I respond to what you just said, to the accusation that you just said? May I respond, please, sir? Okay. All I ever said was Mr. Butts, I believe that if you tended to be more serious in your presentation,
Serious.
and take more command of the space when you're addressing the audience, that it might be more effectual. That's all that I said. That's all that I personally said. Others may have said some things, but they would have to address those things themselves. But can we move on? Let me ask you about this. You brought up the other candidates in the race. I'm going to mention the candidates, and please tell us how you would bring a different perspective, why you would be a better selection as mayor of Harrisburg. And let's begin with Mayor Wanda Williams. You know, how would the city fare better under a Butts administration than it is now under a Williams administration?
I have a large masculine prowess, meaning I base a lot of my stuff on war. Being a Harrisburgonian, I know that I won the Civil War.
You won the Civil War.
My ancestry. This is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm a Harrisburgonian. There are people that died for me to be here to say this. I put the church on the National Registry.
What church?
Camp Curtin.
Okay.
Camp Curtin was built as a Civil War memorial. There's a lot of people that don't understand why Harrisburg is Harrisburg. And we need to teach these lessons in this story of victory. And that's what I bring to the table. Mayor Wanda Williams has the opportunity to work with the Civil War Museum, which is the Smithsonian, and try to collaborate with the Smithsonian and the city of Harrisburg to bring a better stature when it comes to economic development and tourism. She chooses not to do that. I don't understand the logic between her not wanting to bridge that gap and helping the Civil War Museum, the Smithsonian, help us. I don't understand a couple things, and as mayor, that is one thing that I would spearhead, our Civil War heritage, so that the story can be told and we can be proud of who and what we are. It's flabbergasting that you would just throw up your hands when we got a history of winning the Civil War, freedom for us all that radiates throughout the world. It's ridiculous. Tell the story. But I understand she's a woman, and a woman may not see winning wars as victory stories. But we have over 477 flags that if I'm mayor, I will fly across the State Street Bridge so people can understand who and what we are throughout this nation and the world. That's what I bring. I'm not talking about no little Lamont scenarios or even Tony Cook's scenarios.
We're going to go by the different candidates.
But you're talking about Williams, who is in the seat now, that doesn't use what we have to bolster an our economy or education. It's ridiculous, and I don't understand where they feel they can create something new about something that we don't have to create that's solid.
Okay. Do you think that might have been a sexist comment when you said because she's a woman that she may not
Well,
understand?
well, usually women don't like war stories. Usually women don't, but we have a war story. And sometimes you might think I'm jovial, but really technically, across central Pennsylvania, they don't look at Louis Butts as jovial because I preach a war story.
Okay. And also just one touching it just for a hot second. Jovial is not a bad thing. Jovial is not a bad thing. Okay, let's move on to another candidate. Okay, we have Dan Miller, a former city council member and a business owner in Harrisburg, and a CPA. So what would make you a better candidate, a better mayor for Harrisburg than someone with that background?
Well, speaking again of being able to reach the different demographics of our community and a most masculine tone. I have a masculine tone, and sometimes you need to be masculine to enter some of our sections of our community to be heard, to be understood. And I don't think Dan has the lateral motions or the ability to reach in some of the darker areas of our city to reach the people that need to be reached.
Okay, let's move on to Lamont Jones. Now here, he is a business owner in Harrisburg. He's a certified life coach among other certifications, and he's a seated city council member. What makes Louis Butts a better choice as mayor for Harrisburg than Lamont Jones?
Because I'm not greedy. I'm not a greedy person. I feel as though after talking to Lamont, seeing the people that are around him, seeing where he wants with his intentions, and see where he's at now. He's not maximizing his seat as safety and security the czar. He's just not doing it.
Would you clarify that term when you say that Lamont is greedy? What do you mean by that?
Well, he has his foot in two pots, meaning
Such as?
he's sitting in the seat and he wants another seat. Then he says, "Oh, if I don't get it, I'll still be here till 2028." I think that's a little much. If you're really serious, stay where you're at and work with what you got. We want black males, but he wants to take the whole kit and caboodle instead of sharing the pot.
Well, what if some see that as a natural progressive?
He hasn't even been here. Matter of fact, what has he done?
He did not.
You're defending him.
I am speaking facts, brother. He did not write the rules as far as being in office.
I'm talking
and
about
running
initiative.
For another office.
I'm talking about being in office, having initiative, and getting something done. No, they could tell that nothing is being done. That's why the homicide rate is an all-time high. And I am tired of people discounting the deaths that occurred and him acting as if he's walking on water, and which he's not. So just stop it. He needs to go back and he needs to sit down and then he needs to maximize and figure out to do where he's sitting now, since we still have him till 2028.
But can you blame the homicides on him, or could that be conflict resolution problems in effect?
No, you got to be an adult. If you're in the seat, take the heat. Just like Wanda should take the heat. You can't choose and pick what kind of tea or what kind of Kool-Aid you want. You have to take it what people give you. Have a solution. If you need help, I will help you like I tried before. But he is so... Look, listen. This is the reason why. This is who's accountable. This is who's responsible. These are people at our head right now. And if you don't take it serious, they're not taking this. He's not taking this. He's the joke. He's jovial if he's not taking the death serious. And that's that.
Okay, the telephone lines are open if you want to call in and speak to Mr. Butts. The number again is 717-889-7181. That's 717-889-7181. 81. Okay, let's go to the other candidate. Then there's the guy that puts on a lot of cookouts, the community organizer, I believe primarily for the south side of Harrisburg. Why would a bus administration be better for Harrisburg than a Cook administration?
Tony has a great ability to bring people together. I just love it. I love how his energy is, and if I'm the mayor, I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna keep Tony. But the depth of what needs to be accomplished isn't not necessarily bouncy houses and pony rides. We need real infrastructure pieces to produce revenue. We had the incinerator, which was supposed to be our revenue producer, which is not ours, it's Lancaster's. So we don't really have, our parking was supposed to be ours too. We don't have any economic engines to rely on. The only money that we get are from taxes. And the city, we're not supposed to be taking care of the city. The city is supposed to be taking care of us. So with me, I'll bring in more infrastructure pieces that create revenue engines so that we can have money to fix our roads, money to subsidize electricity for our seniors, money for scholarships, money for anything that we need to have done. And then we won't have that all-time question of where is the money? That is the craziest question in the world. We have to produce enough revenue so we can eliminate that question. And that's what I bring.
Okay, so there will be the difference between a Butts administration
Night and day.
and a Cook administration.
Night and day. And not only that, with the producers of revenue, we can create more events. We'll have more events. And he would definitely be on my team when it comes to events because I think he's most comfortable with reaching out, but he also needs protected just like everybody else in this city.
Okay, so when you
And
say
nurtured.
okay, when you say that you would keep Tone Cook, does that mean that you would position him in a
So he can be
department?
prosperous, he can
Okay.
be productive, and he can grow
You'll
the
make
way
him a part of your administration?
Definitely, I'll make all
Perhaps Park and Rec.
all the city council persons who don't make council will be on my administration. Anybody that doesn't make council, I can give you an example. If Lawson doesn't make council, he will be in my administration. Anybody who doesn't make it makes it with me.
Okay, let me say this. If someone else were to win the election and become mayor, would you accept if offered a position in their administration?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, but I want to work with my city. I've studied my city. I know the natural resources. But if I'm mayor, when I become mayor, I'll study our human resources. Everyone is important. Everyone has value. It's important that we nurture and we groom and we protect these people and make sure they have a track to prosperity within their own city. That's what they deserve, and that's what I will bring as a priority when it comes to my morality and my ethics, to owe it to these citizens to know that I'm accessible and I'm working with and for them. And I think that would help to reduce the crime.
Okay.
They have to be reassured that they're loved. Each person deserves love. And that's what I bring. At the top of the pyramid has to be love. Then it trickles down and everybody can feel it. then we can be more compassionate and patient with each other. And that's what I bring.
Okay. Chris Thomas, let me bring you to the conversation. You have a question or comment for Mr. Butts?
Oh, sure. Again, I ain't got nothing but love for you, baby. Nothing but love for you, Louis. And I wish you the best in this up and coming election cycle. I'm sure if you looked up the definition of determination, your picture would be next to that in the Webster's Dictionary. So we definitely appreciate your determination.
Yes.
And you are definitely an asset to the Harrisburg and surrounding areas as well, if I can begin with that. Now, one of the characteristics of a true leader, which I'm sure you know being the leader that you are, is integrity and honesty. And how will you assure the Harrisburg residents and voters that once elected, because we all hear all these lofty ideas from everyone about what they would like to do and accomplish in the city, but then once elected a lot of those things never materialize for whatever reason. Now, how can we be assured under the Butts administration that honesty and integrity will be an integral part of your platform, sir? Please and thank you.
It's called believing and having a faith in God and knowing that those laws and parables and principles that are instilled in the Word are paramount and are present whenever I function. It's called the functionality of a holy manner. This is my fifth time running, but it's my course. It's a true course, and if you look back, you'll see a consistent language. I have a family that I have to look in the face to. I have two sons. I have a 34-year-old son, and I have an 8-year-old son.
Yes, sir.
It's important that I stay true to my conscience, which is, and people help me. People help me along the way.
Sure.
When I meet people, I want them to see them in me. When they look at me, I want them to know that we're connected, that they're reaching me. And in reaching people, you just have a tendency to do the right thing.
Sure.
If you wear everything on your sleeve and you're guided by those principles, you have a tendency to do the right thing by people, and that's what I've always done. If you talk to people in the community, I've done things, but it's not about me telling everybody what I've done.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that could be so daunting. It's not about me. It's about how I connect with the people at the top.
Yes, sir.
When I'm there, and not treat them like they're lesser
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
of a person just because they're not where I'm at. So it's about being humble. It's about being humble. And I feel I have that character that I can reach people.
Sure. And I gotta say that I appreciate your desire and calling to bring spirituality back into the seat. Not that it may not be already in the seat. I don't know much about the current mayor's spiritual well-being, but I appreciate you wanting to be led and governed, by the principles that are found in God's Word. Because I truly believe, and I'll give it back to Ron, we're either one nation under God or we're one nation under. Back to you, Ron.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Now, we have a comment. I saw a comment there, Chris Thomas, by Basir Vincent. I'm going to ask you to read in a moment. Folks, so we do appreciate and we do invite your comments. We would prefer that you would call in and speak them out directly. It's good to writing comments, but when you have rhetorical questions in there, it makes it a little awkward when it's much simpler simply to call in. So we appreciate your attentiveness, and we suggest that you call in with your comments. The number again is 717-889-7181, 717-889-7181. Chris, do you see the comment by Mr. Basir Benson?
Well, see, we don't really know if that's him or not. That's the point.
Sure, I believe it. I believe it is him, because he says great ideas, especially end-to-end career pathways. He said, my hope and question is, after this season, how can we work together after this political season to achieve these goals, sir? Please and thank you.
Well, after this season, we will see where we are positioned. My position has always been open, especially with Basir, because he has one of the only candidates, actually, that reference to the development and the repopulation and redesign of our comprehensive plan, which has been non-existent since 2020. And I don't know how a city can run without a comprehensive plan that engages our community so that we have checks and balances, as well as markers that we can see what was accomplished and what wasn't accomplished, so everybody knows where we're at. It helps to synchronize our community to progress. And if you don't have one, we're flying by wire. And when you fly by wire, it's jerk reactions. It's not a it's not a systematic type experience. And that's where we're at now, where we have an administration that fails to give organizations grant money for a gear that organizations need, like fair housing. I'm a board member of fair housing, and our administration we received grants from the feds, and you might think I'm being jovial, but I'm laughing because it's crazy that our administration doesn't have the employees to issue grant money that was already granted to help our citizenry. It behooves me. I might laugh, but it's not funny. I'm laughing because it's horrendous. It's horrendous. And I might sound like a little bit like Dan, but it is horrendous. And that would not happen in my administration. The money need to be reached. The money needs to go where it can reach the people that need it the most. Not be money on the table, as Irvis always says, and she's right about it. There was the State Street project. There was money for safety and security, that $500,000 that could have saved lives, that wasn't given appropriated properly. And what's his name? Lamont should be he should be pulling his hair out in back of that money that should go to save lives. I don't know what he's doing. I try to go to those meetings. He needs to go back and sit down where he's at and figure out how to make his seat be effective in his seat, instead of dancing around and splitting the vote.
What do you say to those that may suggest that you are splitting the vote?
I mean, they have. So I've heard it.
Okay.
I can't say nothing. People say all kinds of things about me,
Okay.
including that I joke too much. They say that too. You know? But what do? You still carry on, you still stay the course, and you hope and you trust that people get smarter after years and years. Sometimes you just hope that they understand that the water's wet and the river is still running. They have to finally realize it, that things can be done differently to make our lives better, instead of playing this high school level play. People are dying, and we're not using our resources smartly. It's just mind-boggling, and that's why I stand up, and that's why nobody can buy me. That's why I'm not in Fred Clark's camp, because those people know that I can't be bought. I'm good. I've always been good, and I've always been strong.
So are you suggesting that other candidates may be bought?
I'm not going to go through it because I'm not there.
Well,
But I know as well as you know.
No, as well as no, you can't not tell me what I know, Louis. I'm asking you about how you feel. I believe we have a call coming in. Chris, is that a call?
Yes,
sir?
it is.
Okay, hold that thought, Louis. Hi. Okay. Did you answer? Please answer the call, Chris.
You know, candidates are bought.
Chris, are you going to answer
And
the
paid.
call?
I'm trying
for it.
to, Ron. Give me 1 second, bro.
Don't be naive, Ron.
I'm sorry. I missed it. So,
Chris.
just ask him to call back. It's a new phone system, Ron, so give me a second.
Okay, folks, we're having a. Okay. Well, can you tone down the ring there? Let me respond to Louis. Okay, first of all, Mr. Butts, what are you referring to when you're saying don't be naive? I asked you if you had proof, or do you believe that some candidates are being bought off?
Maybe you should ask yourself that.
No, I'm asking you, sir. You are the guest.
Yeah,
you are the guest.
but this is a man to man. Do you feel as though that candidates are being bought? Yes or no?
No.
Are you
No,
serious?
Yes, I'm serious. I don't have any proof that candidates are being bought. Do you have any proof?
Matter of fact, I hope they call in and tell us that they're being bought. That would be good. Are you serious? Who's Fred Clark? And who's Fred Clark? Do you know who Fred Clark is?
Yes, I know of. Fred
okay.
Clark. So
And then
why are you making this accusation that candidates are being bought when you don't have any proof? You know, who's to say that Louis Butts isn't being bought?
Because Louis Butts isn't never bought.
Okay, well then why can't they say the same thing about themselves?
No, because they can't,
Because they can't. Why? Why can't they?
bro.
Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, hi, you on the all new Ron Chapel show with Louis Butts. Who are we speaking with?
Yes, this is Boxer Vincent.
This is who? Boxer Vincent? Hi.
Boxer Vincent.
Welcome, Mr. Vincent. Your question or comment for Mr. Butts?
Absolutely. No, one, I wanted to appreciate you guys for reading my comment out loud. I wanted to appreciate you, Louis, I've really appreciated, especially this season. I see you getting better at presenting your ideas, presenting the concepts. I know we definitely agree on the need for actually following and executing a plan effectively. So appreciate you for mentioning that. What my question is for you, how do we overcome this, it seems like there's so much preventing us from collaborating. And I know we talk about this outside, so I'm just giving you the opportunity to share. How do we overcome this back and forth so we can collaborate and get through? Because kind of like you were saying, I think every person running for mayor, every person for city council wants what's right for the city, but we allow ego to get in the way, we allow these petty grievances to stop us from working together and making the city truly great. So what are your thoughts on how we can overcome that? And I would love to hear your ideas on, how we begin to really pave a new way going forward.
Well, this goes back to individuals and groups that put forth money for candidates, and then you have to appease those people who contribute large amounts of money to a campaign or another. We have developers that fork over money, and then after you owe them after it's all over. So then you're a puppet, and you may have wanted initially to be wholesome, but then after a while you find yourself being led down a trail that you really didn't want to go down. I've seen it happen in a lot of different administrations. And this season, though, we start out with little niches, little groups of people who pass judgments on people, or other candidates, or it's cliquish. There's cliques all over, little cliques all over Harrisburg, and they have a tendency to sway people one way or another. Just off, and things may not be true even, but if one group has a tendency to have the media or media avenues, they'll put forth a narrative that may not be all true, and that sometimes it disenfranchise and puts people off at even running for political seats, because it could be hard for the individuals to get through all the different personalities that Harrisburg and get vetted. It's hard to get vetted in Harrisburg. Let's just say that. It's extremely hard to get vetted. That's why I started 4 administrations ago. And right now, people pretty much know me. There's some people that try to slander and throw a narrative that's untrue about me, but eventually you'll see the core of the person. You know what I'm saying? It just takes a lot of time to get vetted in Harrisburg with some of the characters and some of the attacks that go on.
I agree, and again, I thank you for your statements, and I really hope, like, after this political season, but either of us, right? Like, God willing, if we both get our seats, and we'll definitely work together in an official capacity. But if that doesn't happen either way, I think we really need to begin to work on collaborating outside of the political season, so that that we can truly make this progress, because I think the progress can be made either way. Obviously, certain people get seats, it'll probably progress faster, but either way, the ideas that I think we both have are around making the city better. So look forward to working with you in any facet in the future.
And Basir, I'll be honest, I do appreciate your intelligence. I appreciate your courage, and I thank you for helping to change the black narrative. You know what I mean? We've got some narratives that need to be sort of like adjusted, and you help make those adjustments. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, thanks for your call, Mr. Vincent. Okay.
All right. Thank you,
And
Ron.
good luck. And good luck. All right. Good luck, buddy.
Lewis, there's been a lot of murmuring in the community about the position of a deputy mayor for Harrisburg. How do you feel about the question or the idea of a deputy mayor for Harrisburg?
That's another expense. I mean, another position is another expense, right?
It could
We're
be.
we're small. We're a small village. I mean, we have an administration, a city administration. We have a school administration for 50,000 people. There's a lot of bureaucracy for a little bit of people. I feel as though it's too much for because the school administration separates the children. I don't really necessarily support a deputy mayor because we're a small city. Could be an assistant. What I think they have that now. I don't think it's an assistant to the mayor or something like that. But that's enough. I mean, it's a small city. We need to have more people coming together. What we have, just coming together and have a platform like a comprehensive plan or something that we can communicate better. We don't have a newspaper, Ron. We don't have a good radio station that feeds information to people. We don't have a television platform that feeds information. I mean, I like reading the paper. I like getting the paper and sitting down with some coffee and reading a newspaper. And I know there are people in our community that may be over 50 like me that like to read. They may not think black men read. I've heard that lately. But we do. They may not think black men like families and like work jobs, but we do. It's the narrative that's being spit out across the country, and we need to come to a head as the capital city of Pennsylvania to have a better narrative. I am an environmentalist. I created the Susquehanna River Trail from Sunbury to Maryland line. I did all the research in the Susquehanna River from the Sunbury, from the confluence down to the Maryland line. I know about the river. I know about our natural resources. I was a librarian for 20 geologists. Then I know nature. I know what we need to make our city function, as well as keep our people happy and not stressed out. That's what I've been studying, and that is what an administration under me, a quality of life, it will be better. And we need that dialect. We need to talk back and forth.
Okay, now you had mentioned that you have a website where people can access your plan,
Louis Butts
okay.
For mayor.com. I'm going to be updating it every 6 hours because I'm meeting people, and all those people I meet, all those places I go, come to my website every 6 hours. It will be updated, as well as you'll see what I'm going to be doing, talking to people.
Okay. Chris, you have a closing comment or a question for Mr. Butts?
I think what I needed to be said pretty much was said. But again, we thank you, Louis, again for what you do bring to the table and the stellar accomplishments that you've already accomplished for the city of Harrisburg and the world abroad. God bless you, and we look forward to the best turnout concerning your platform. Thank
That's
you.
what it's all about. It's about how many people are interested in what's going on and what kind of change they want. And I thank you. Only God can judge me. Only God.
Absolutely.
And let's take God and keep God at the forefront of our minds, our bodies, and our souls.
Okay. I'm going to give you the closing word. Folks, we're about to end the broadcast. I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us. I want to thank Mr. Basir Vincent, candidate for Harrisburg City Council. I want to thank him for his input, his support in calling in. And I just want to quickly highlight some of the other candidates that have been on. I'm not going to mention the two other mayoral candidates. I'll just say that two chose not to come on, and that was Mr. Cook and Miss Williams. They did not choose. They chose not to come on to face and address you and take questions from you, the viewing public. So you can do with that as you choose. But I want to thank the Honorable Latasha Williams, running for Dauphin County Court. I want to thank Mr. Basir Vincent, Miss candidate also, Miss Elise Irvis, Mr. Rob Lawson, Miss Lori Salisbury, and Miss Sharon Horn for coming on the program and addressing you, the voters, and having the courage to take your phone calls. And I want to thank our very, very special guest, Mr. Lewis Butts. And I know there's a lot of different camps out there. There's a lot of quote-unquote marquee type name candidates out there. Chris, do you have that clip ready?
Yes, I do.
Before we allow Mr. Butts to address everyone?
Sure.
Okay, this is a clip that I played during Mr. Butts' last visit. This is from a movie that was out years ago called Putney Swope, and it told a story about a certain board meeting where the CEO of the board had passed away, and there was a process to elect a new board member, and the only charge was that they could not vote for themselves, and so the rest will be self-explanatory. And this is a quick little clip, and then we'll hear from Mr. Butts. Chris, go right ahead, please.
What do you think of those cufflinks?
How many syllables, Mario? How many syllables, Mario? How many syllables, Mario? How many syllables, Mario? How many syllables, Mario?
Okay, Chris, stop.
How many syllables,
That's the
Mario?
wrong clip. Stop.
How many syllables, Mario?
Stop, please. Okay. Anyway, what I was because we played it last time, but apparently it's not in order now. But anyway, it told about how these board members all voted for someone, and the person that received the most votes happened to be a individual that no one else thought would vote for him, and that was the word they said among themselves after the vote was taken. Well, you voted him for you voted for him. You voted for him. They said yes because we thought nobody else would vote for him. So he ended up being the sort of dark horse in the race. He ended up being the new chairman of the board. So are we going to see life imitate art here in this election? But anyway, the last word we give to our candidate for mayor of Harrisburg, Mr. Lewis Butts. So, Mr. Lewis Butts, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, I'm pretty dark. I may not be a horse, but I'm pretty dark. I love the residents. I need the residents to make a choice on not only my attitude, my vision, my temperament, my intellect, my persona, my love for my community, and as well as my strength. Physically and mentally. It takes a lot to come up with or to take everybody in consideration and leave myself at the bottom. As the administrator, as the mayor, that's what I would do. I'm here to deliver a plan, a message, and an opportunity for our citizenry to choose. And I want you to choose me, not only because I was born and raised in Harrisburg, is because I love the diversity and I need to grow also. And I want the citizenry to see me grow, to see how I develop through time to be the man that they want me to be. And that's why I'm here today to ask you, please, when you go into that poll, choose 3. Number 3, it's Louis Butts, and let's go. Let's let our quality of life in Harrisburg be the best that it can be.
Okay. Well, we thank you, Mr. Butts. The time is over for the show. Just very, very quickly, if you can do this under 5 seconds, possibly we are under time constraints here. But if people want to join your campaign, especially help volunteer on election day, what number would they call, or how would they contact you or your campaign directly?
My number, let's see. Do you have my number?
It's in my phone.
It's in his phone.
712-5867.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, repeat that again slowly, Chris.
717-712-5867. It's on his website, louisbuttsformayor.com.
Thanks, Chris. I do appreciate you, Chris, and also you, Ron.
Okay. Well,
and I think you're stellar.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Butts. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for the wonderful things that you said, and I want to invite you back to the program on the next regular scheduled program, which will be next Thursday. Win, lose, or draw. Win, lose, or draw. You have an invitation to come here to give your reflections on the election. You and we also invited the last guest to return back again. As I invite, I'm giving a standing invitation for all the candidates that have appeared on this show during this campaign season. The following broadcast, you're all invited if you want to come back to give your reflections on the outcome. And so anyway, for Chris Thomas and the Voice 17104, and I thank you for viewing, you supporters and you detractors of Mr. Louis Butts, friend and foes alike. We thank you for taking the time to view the program. And if you feel worthy, please be sure to share the program. I want to thank Mr. Louis Butts, candidate for mayor of Harrisburg, for taking the time to be with us today. And by all means, folks, please get out and vote Tuesday, May 20th, because if you don't vote, someone will vote for you, and they may select someone that you were not going to select. So appreciate the hard work of your ancestors. If you're of the Afro-American community, the hard work of your ancestors helping to win you the right to vote. So go out and exercise your franchise on May the 20th. By all means, please vote. Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.